Okay, so we're going to start. First of all, welcome everybody. I hope everybody's healthy and feeling good. These are unusual times, but definitely wonderful that we can study Torah together. And I want to share with you, and this is what's going to happen tonight. I'm going to share with you a bunch of documents, okay? So let's call this document Exhibit 1. So I'm going to open up the document now, and then after I open it, I'm going to share it with you, okay? Let's see, share screen, I think. At this point, you should all see this document on your computer screen. Do you see it? Okay. So here's what it says. I'm going to read it to you. It's in Hebrew. This is the Rabbanut Harashit, the chief rabbinate of Tel Aviv. And just give me a moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute everybody. I know there's a way to do it. Here it is. Mute. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I just muted everybody, but I don't want you to despair. I will give you all a chance to ask questions at the end. So I'm going to actually leave 15 minutes at the end of the class, during which time you will all have an opportunity to ask various questions. I don't usually do that. I usually like to take questions during the class, but because this is a slightly different forum, we're going to be limited. And here's the document. The document is by the chief rabbinate of Tel Aviv Yafo, and it says Ishur LePesach Tafshin Peh. This is a kashrut certificate for Pesach. It's for the year 2020, our year. And basically, it's giving kashrut to Pesach for a cosmetic company. The name of the cosmetic company is Pnina Rosenblum. It's a known cosmetic company in Tel Aviv. Let's look at the list of things that are kosher. The list of things that are kosher, it contains 22 items that are kosher. And let me just go through some of the items. Sabonim, that means soap. Krem yadayim, that means hand cream. Shampoo, that means shampoo. And the list goes on and on and on. I assume that there must be some cosmetic products that are not on this list. And therefore, if you're going to go to Pina Rosenblum and follow this list, and you see a cosmetic product that's not on this list, by implication, you would not be allowed to buy that cosmetic product. That's Exhibit 1. Okay? I am now going to go to Exhibit 2. Okay, so let's open up Exhibit 2. Exhibit 2. Okay, and let me share it. I'm going to get the hang of this eventually. It is a little a share screen. I am now sharing Exhibit 2. Okay, so this is another kashrut certificate. This is by the Rabbanut in Bnei Brak, city in Israel, and it's for Dr. Fisher. So Dr. Fisher now has this certificate, and the certificate here has a list of products that if you go to Dr. Fisher's products, these are healthcare products. Let me read some of the products. Neutral Car Shampoo Kashkusim. This is a dandruff shampoo. So this dandruff shampoo is indeed kosher for Pesach. You may buy it. Here's another thing. A neutral Kar Tachlib Rachza Lachut. This is a moisturizing body cream that you can use to wash yourself. Again, fortunately, this is kosher for Pesach. Okay, so there's a lot of things here that are kosher for Pesach. I'm sure that there's other products of Dr. Fisher that are not on this list, and therefore we would have to conclude that these other products are not kosher for Pesach. Okay. The purpose of this class is to give you the tools to analyze whether something needs a kashrut for Pesach or doesn't need a kashrut for Pesach. That's a really important question. And there's two reasons that this is an important question. The first reason is that it's important to be intelligent. The Torah is to be studied by all. And we should all have knowledge of the Torah. So number one, we're asked to be intelligent, understanding people. We should understand the mitzvot that Hashem gave us. We should understand how to perform these mitzvot. We can't be ignorant. That's the first point. And the second point is as follows, and it's equally important. And it is that nowadays, unfortunately, people are not doing so well economically. There are some people who are potentially having difficulties. We all know what's happening with the COVID-19. We all know that in addition to the healthcare catastrophe, there's an economic catastrophe. And people should know what they have to buy and what they don't have to buy, kasher lePesach. Because sometimes some of the products kosher lePesach, sometimes they're more expensive than the products that don't have the kosher for Pesach label. So it's also important as a practical matter to know the halacha. So that's what I want to do today. I want to teach you the primary sources so you will know them, you will understand them. I believe, and this is the motto of this class, that less is more. I'm not going to load you up with information. I just want to teach you a few basic rules. And once you know these basic rules, you will be able to apply your knowledge of these basic rules to understand, wait, do I need a kosher for Pesach on the aluminum foil? Do I need a kosher for Pesach on the hair product, on the shampoo, on the soap? I want to give you that knowledge, okay? So you're going to have that knowledge, and be'ezrat Hashem, we're all going to be better for that knowledge. I've been asked to say that this class is Le'ilui Nishmat Yishak ben Meir. Back to the class. Okay, so here goes. Let's start studying Torah. And I'm going to open up, until now I was showing you the kosher certificates. I'm now going to open up the primary sources. So let's open up source number 1. Okay, here it is. Give me a moment, share screen. And okay, here we go. I'm familiarizing myself with the basic functions on Zoom. And here it is. Okay. Everybody should now see this law. This law is from Harambam, Mishneh Torah. And this is the basic law of Pesach. I say it's the basic law of Pesach in the sense that this is the foundation for why Hametz is indeed very hamur, meaning why is it that we're so mahmirim with Hametz on Pesach? So here's the law. It says, Hametz shenitarev bedavar acher tocha Pesach. Okay? If during Pesach Hametz got mixed in with something else, for example, you have let's say a grain of wheat. The grain of wheat, let's say, falls, a cracked grain of wheat. Let's take an extreme case for those of you who know halacha. A cracked grain of wheat falls into a giant pot of rice, and what happens? It gets cooked together, and there's, let's say, 10,000 grains of rice against the 1 grain of wheat. The halakha is Hametz bePesach afilu be'elef la batil. That's the law. The law is that Hametz on Pesach is never annulled. Okay? That's why people have this idea, and it's a correct idea, that you have to be careful in the food that you consume on Pesach, meaning to the extent that the food might have or does have Hametz on it, we're not going to eat that food because afilu be'elef la batil. That's the halakha. Okay. That's the first basic law that I wanted to teach you. I'm now going to teach you the second basic law. And now we're going to get to some of the fun stuff. So again, I'm going to share the screen with you. Here we go. Share screen. Okay. This is the second basic law. Ta'arovet Hametz overin alea mishum bal yira'eh ubal yimaseh. Here's an important law. On Pesach, the same way you're not allowed to eat Hametz, and the same way that you're not allowed to eat something that contains Hametz, for example, I brought you the example of the rice, giant pot of rice, that just 1 grain of cracked wheat fell into that giant pot of rice and it was all cooked together. You cannot eat that, right? Hold on 1 second. Yeah, sure. Okay. So, there's a similar law that you also may not possess Hametz. Okay? So you cannot have Hametz in your house, right? And when we say you can't have hametz in your house, there's also a lo ta'arovet hametz. Let's say I don't have hametz be'ayin, I don't have actual bread, I don't have an actual bag of pretzels, that's hametz be'ayin, that's actual hametz. Rather, I have a ta'arovet, I have a mixture. The same way I'm not allowed to eat hametz or a mixture of hametz, I may not possess hametz or a mixture of hametz. By the way, to have hametz in your house on Pesach is not one isur deoraita. It's actually two isurim deoraita. Okay, just so you understand, it's very, very hamur. It's not like a derabanan law. It's not something. It's a deoraita law, and there's two isurim. Actually, it's three. Bal yira'eh, bal yimaseh, those two misvot aseh. V'tashbitu se'or, that's a misvat aseh. So it's actually three misvot deoraita not to have hametz. So it says as follows: Ta'arovet hametz. And here's some examples. Hamurias. Murias was a type of sauce that they used to put on the food. It had some fish fat in it. Doesn't sound particularly appealing, at least not to me. And it had some flour, fermented flour inside it. That's an example of ta'arov hametz. You can't have murias in your house on Pesach. So if you have something a mixture, some sort of edible food, where you have some fermented leavened product within the mixture, haram to have it. The kuttah hababli, that's a type of, it was a type of a cheesy or yogurty food that was very spicy, and inside it they would have pieces of bread. Again, you can't have that on Pesach. When I say you can't have it, I'm not saying you can't eat it. Of course you cannot eat it. You can't even possess it in your house. The Sheikhar Hamadi. Sheikhar Hamadi is some sort of liquor that they used to have in Parasu Madai. Who knows, maybe Ahashverosh had it. But it's a liquor. I assume it was similar to Scotch because it was made from some sort of flour or maybe barley or something like that. All of these things, these are edible things. And because they're edible, you can't have it in your house on Pesach. Aval, דבר שיש בו תערובת חמץ ואינו ראוי לאכילה. But here's the important point. If you have a mixture which is not edible, you can possess it on Passover. You have a mixture. This mixture contains chametz, but the mixture itself is not something that would be considered food. Human beings won't eat this product. You can have it in your house on Pesach. You don't have to get rid of it because it's not considered within the isur of bal yira'eh ubal yimaseh. And let's give a few examples of this. Let's see what Harambam says about this mixture. Again, we're dealing here with non-edible mixtures. So just let me hold on. Let me take a break. I'll stop. Just to summarize what we said. We said that one may not have in his possession edible mixtures of hametz, but if it's non-edible, you can have it. That's it. That's the summary of what we just studied. And here's now an example of non-edible thing. Kesan. Arevat ha'avdanim. They used to tan leather. Leather tanning, just as a historical fact, was such an had such obnoxious fumes that it was actually forbidden to have the leather tanning within the city. They would have it outside the city, and they had this big metallic basin, and into the metallic basin they would put flour and some other chemicals, and the flour itself would be fermented, and by definition it's hametz. And then you would put the leather into that mixture, and then somehow the chemicals would work on the leather, and the leather would come out malleable and usable. Now this arevat, that's called arevat ha'avdanim. Arevat ha'avdanim is that basin that contains the flour with the water, and it's fermented flour. Can you keep such a basin in your possession on Pesach? You put in it the flour, so it's 100% This is hametz by definition. The orot. And you put into this mixture, you put leather. Even if you put it right before the time that you have to burn hametz, meaning remove, before you have to remove hametz from your possession, you may indeed keep this hametz in your possession on Pesach. What's the reason? Well, we said, because it's not edible. No human being will eat this flour. No human being will take this flour and use it for any purpose related to food. However, another possibility. Let's say you didn't put the leather. Let's say you didn't put the leather inside the flour. Okay, you have the flour. But now the flour itself, it has they put some other chemicals in that basin. If the flour was there for 3 days before Pesach, again, you may keep that flour, even though it's fermented flour. Again, we're dealing with fermented flour. You may keep it, shehare nifsad dehivish, because this flour is already becoming rotten. It's something that you would never eat, right? But on the other hand, if the flour, you just put it, let's say, a day before Pesach, and it's not rotten yet, right? And therefore it's still theoretically edible, this flour you would have to get rid of because it's fermented flour, it's still edible, it still could be used for food, and therefore you would have to get rid of it. So if we had to summarize the basic law and what you've learned until now, it's a really simple law. Any product that is not edible does not fall within the isur of possessing chametz on Pesach. You may possess that, you may buy that product before Pesach, you may use that product, you may have that product in your house. We're going to deal with use in a minute. We didn't deal with use yet. We'll deal with that in a moment. You may have that product in your house, you have shampoo in your house, you have something else that's not edible. Certainly, there is no obligation to get rid of that product. That's really important. You can keep it in your house. Okay? That's the first law. I'm not going to do a stop share so you can all see me. And we're now going to continue learning additional laws. Okay? What time is it? It's 10 to 9. Okay, good. We're on track. We're on track. We're going to finish everything we need to study. So that's exciting. And I'm going to have time for questions, as I said. For those of you who came late, we're going to have time for questions. So I'm very excited that we're going to be doing all this. Let me take you now to the next law. Okay. Okay. Let me read to you this halakha. This is again, we're reading from Harambam, Hilchot Chametz Umasa. We are in Perek Daled Halakha Yod. I'm going to read it. Bechen hakilor. A kilor is a type of medicine. It was actually a cream that they would put on the eyes. That's called kilor. Veharitiya, veharispelanit. Retiya and ispelanit are bandages that you would put on the bandage, a type of ointment. Now what's important is that the kilor, the retiya, the ispelanit, these three, let's call it pharmaceutical products, had one thing in common, and what they had in common was, and let's read about the fourth pharmaceutical product, and then I'll tell you what they all had in common. Vehatriyaka. The fourth pharmaceutical product is triyaka. Triyaka was a type of lotion that somebody would use against snake bites and insect bites and things of that nature. All these things, even though within these pharmaceutical products you have chametz, the halakha is mutar lekayeman befesach shehare nifseda surat chametz. You may have these products on Pesach. Why? You may possess these products on Pesach. Why? Because the chametz no longer has the shape of chametz. It no longer has the physical properties of chametz. Right? Basically, the chametz has, so to speak, it exists, but it doesn't exist in its regular state. And that's enough for us and for the law to be that you may possess these products and you don't have to get rid of these products. So now we dealt with pharmaceutical products, okay? We just dealt with pharmaceutical products that have chametz in them. I know what you're all thinking. You're all saying, wait, hold on. We don't have to throw it out, but can we use it on Pesach? Okay, we didn't get there yet, okay? I'm just dealing now. I'm building step by step by step. I will deal with the issue of can you use these products on Pesach? But for now, you go to your closet. You don't have to go there with a giant dumpster and just throw everything into the dumpster. It's okay. You can keep any non-edible product in your house, and you should keep any non-edible product in your house because there is no chumrah. And maybe I'll just take a digression and forgive me for being a little, going off course for a second. There are some things in life which we like to be mahmirim on. For example, terefot, the kashrut of animals. There's all types of issues that come up when you do shechita on an animal. There's different types of issues and questions and machlokot. And there we have some doubts in the halakha. And if somebody wants to be mahmir, it would make sense for a person who feels that he wants to be mahmir to be mahmir. For example, Sephardim, we're very mahmirim with the meat we eat, right? We have a very high standard of kashrut. So that makes sense. But when the halakha is 100% crystal clear, when there is no doubt, where the great chachamim over the many generations have all given us the halakha in the most clear way possible, there is no basis for chumrah. It's not a chumrah. If a person says, "Oh, I want to do this," I want to put on. I know I put on tefillin every day. I want to put on a golden chamseh on my arm also. That's not a chumrah. That's nonsensical, right? So anything that is not a derivative of some sort of doubt, some sort of safek that we have in the Gemara, among the poskim, among the Geonim, among Harambam, that's a chumrah. But when there is no doubt, when we know what the halakha is, when we know what the law is, that's not chumrah. That's just something else. Okay? Let's continue. I want to take you now to the next rule. Okay? Okay, I'm going to share the screen now. One more time. Okay, so until now, we dealt with mixtures, ta'arovot. What does it mean? We dealt with situations where you have a mixture, you look at the ingredients, in the ingredients, it says 100% certified chametz. It's in the ingredients. But we said that if that chametz, if the overall product is no longer edible, then you can keep it. You can possess it. What about if you have actual chametz, meaning you don't have a ta'arovet? Not a mixture. Actual chametz. What's the law with that? Let's look at it now. I'm going to read it for you. Chametz, hapat asmaha. Oh, okay. Hapat asmaha she'at pesha. Let's say you have some bread. And this bread, before Pesach, it's became rotten, became spoiled. It became so spoiled that a dog would no longer be interested in eating this piece of bread. Umelugma shenisrecha eno sarich levael. Melugma, they used to have this type of medicine that had some pasty dough in it, and they would chew it, and the saliva somehow, I guess, would have some sort of interaction, and then they would use it as a lotion for some ailments. Again, medicine back then maybe wasn't the most modern in the world, but that's what they had. Okay? Nevertheless, you don't have to get rid of this piece of bread. It's no longer food. But here's the subtlety. In the case of a ta'arovet, it was no longer food for a human being. In the case of the mixture, right? Here, if you're dealing with actual chametz, it can't be edible even for an animal, for a dog, to be specific. So a dog's standards of what a dog might eat, as for those of you who may own dogs, and they take them for walks, and the dogs sometimes they see something on the floor, and they eat it. They go, oh my gosh, what did you just eat? You're right. So those of your own dogs understand this. You may never eat that, but your dog will eat it. In the case of hames be'ayin, it has to be something that even your dog won't eat. If it reached that level, that even the dog won't eat it, you don't have to get rid of it. Okay? So that's basic law number 3. Hold on. You can all see me. And I want to go now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this all together. We're going to tie it all up and then reach certain conclusions. Now, I'm going to share something with you. And you're probably saying, okay, so until now I showed you Harambam. We all know that some people, they would say, well, hold on, what does the Shulchan Aruch say? We want to know Shulchan Aruch, and that legitimately so. And I want to show you that on these points, the Shulchan Aruch is a copy-paste of Harambam. Okay? So give me a moment to share the screen. Who can get me a cup of water? I need a cup of water right now. Yeah.
I'm gonna make you tea, okay?
But I really need water, even though. Hold on 1 second. I have too many documents open. Here it is. Okay. Okay. So here goes. I'm reading to you now the language of the Shulchan Aruch. And what you're going to find when I start reading this language is that it's almost identical. Actually, it is identical to the language of Harambam. So you'll hear it. And here it is. Ta'arovet hames overin alav mishum. Thank you. Just 1 second. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam shekol yom baro. Ta'arovet hames overin alav mishum bal yera'eh ubal yimaseh. A mixture of hames may not be in your possession on Pesach. The same way you may not own chametz, you also may not own a mixture of chametz. Keron hamurias. For example, we said that sauce that had fish fat in it and had some leaven products in it, get rid of it. Can't have it in your house on Pesach. Kuta habavli, we said that was the dairy product which had some bread in it. Shechar amadi, liquor made out of barley. V'chol kayoseh ba'elu midevarim hane'echalim. And anything like this, which is edible. That's the magic phrase, which is edible. But if you have a mixture, and that product, whatever that product is no longer edible by people, mutar lekayemo befesach, you may keep it on Pesach. Copy-paste of Harambam. I'm not even going to read the remaining laws for you. I mean, the remaining part here. I'm not even going to read it because you see it's copy-paste of Harambam. We already read this law. He's going to give some of the exact same examples that Harambam brings. Again, this is not an issue that is in doubt. Harambam, the Rif, the Geonim, the Shulchan Aruch, the Rosh, everybody agrees with these laws. Okay? Everybody agrees with these laws. So and when I say everybody, I'm talking, of course, I'm looking at the primary sources. I do understand that in the contemporary context, and for whatever reason, I understand that there are those who take a different opinion. I'm just showing you the actual sources of the law. I'm not trying to explain to you what people do today, or some people do today, or what some people tell you to do today. I'm just explaining to you the actual halakha. We follow Harambam, we follow the Rif, we follow the Shulchan. That's what we follow. And it's right here. It's right here. So let me continue. I'm going to read to you another source in the Shulchan Aruch, again, just to show you how the Shulchan Aruch makes Pesach, just like Harambam. Okay, so give me a moment, and I'm going to open up this next source. Now that we are recording everything on YouTube, so this class will be on YouTube. You're welcome to join that. Okay, I want to read to you now the Shulchan Aruch. I'm going to share the screen. This is a really important one. All right. Hapat asma she'pesha. Bread that became rotten. So much so that even a dog would not eat it. And as you remember, I told you dogs, they like to eat everything. But this bread is so rotten that the dog will not touch it. Umelugma, we said the melugma is that special type of pasty, doughy thing that they used to chew, and it had some medicine on it, and they put it, the mixture of the saliva and the dough would somehow have medicinal qualities, at least so they thought. Eno hayav levaed, you don't have to get rid of this. So you don't have to get rid of it. So let's summarize the law. This is, everybody agrees on the following principle. You have a mixture that is not edible, and inside the mixture you have chametz. That mixture is not edible by people. Even if an animal will eat it. Even if your dog will eat that mixture. Just keep that in mind. Again, it's a mixture. One of the ingredients in the mixture is bread. I'm being facetious. One of the ingredients in the mixture is something that's leavened. It's actual chametz. But the overall product is not edible. A human being won't eat it. Even if a dog would eat it, you may possess that item on Pesach. On the other hand, if you have actual chametz, not a mixture, the actual chametz itself, which is so rotten or so deformed that an animal, a dog will not eat it, you may possess that as well. Okay, but here's the point that I want to read to you. Give me a moment. 1 second. Okay, 1 second. I want to find to you the next, 1 second, give me a moment. I want to find to you the next source. Hold on 1 second. I may have to apologize for the fact that I didn't Xerox this. Nevertheless. All right. Okay, this source, I did not, hold on, let me just double check. This source, no, oh yeah, I did, I have it. Okay, great, exciting, I have it. I thought I didn't, but I do have it, and here you see it. I'm going to read now the source for you. Again, this is the Shulchan Aruch. Hames shenitaptesh kodem zeman isuro v'nifsal me'achilat ha'kelev o sheserafo ba'esh. You have hames. And again, this is real chametz. It's not even a ta'arovet. It's actual chametz. And it became rotten before Pesach. Or let's take another example. Maybe it didn't become rotten. Maybe it was burnt in the fire. It was burnt. It's now black charcoal. Then a dog would no longer eat this piece of black charcoal. But it was bread. It used to be bread. It's now black charcoal. V'nehrach. It was burnt. It's so burnt that again a dog would not eat it. Another example, which again I know we live in a contemporary society, we can't imagine why a person would take some dough and put tar on top of the dough and use it as a seat. Back then they didn't have the wealth and the luxuries that we have today. That was considered a pillow. Hard to believe, right? Hard to believe. Nevertheless, you did it. This is dough. You put the tar on top of the dough. You're using it as a seat. You may keep this in your possession on Pesach. Okay, that's what I wanted to read to you. And now I am going to come to the punchline. And the punchline is in the final source. And once we have this final source, you would all be able to join me in understanding fully the law. Okay. Give me a moment. This is a little tougher because this is a really small text. Let me see if I can make it bigger. I think I did that. All right. Let's do this now. All right. I'm going to share with you this final source. Share screen. Okay. Okay. What you're looking at now is the Rif. And I'm going to read to you first. And of course, the Rif is just, it's from the Gemara. What's unique about the Rif and what's wonderful about the Rif is, and here's an important point. You know, people always love quoting the Gemara, okay? You know, the Gemara says a lot of things, right? Not everything the Gemara says is halakha. A lot of what the Gemara says is agadah. So, for example, you have a book called En Yaakov. En Yaakov took out the agadah from the Gemara. and presents it as a gadol. I'll give you an example. There's a law in the Gemara that says you can't talk to a person who had vegetables during the first 4 hours of the day. Huh? What? Is that really the law? I mean, is that real? Well, the Gemara says so. It's right there. So does anybody really follow that law? Well, how come? Well, why not? It says so in the Gemara. Here's the point. Because not everything in the Gemara is halacha lema'aseh. The Gemara is a huge book. The Gemara has a purpose. Whatever that purpose is, we can discuss it, in a different class. But not everything in the Gemara is meant as a halacha to be followed by the people. There are many things. So just to quote the Gemara says this, and oh wow, I didn't know that. Okay, thank you for telling me that. The question is not what the Gemara says. The question is how our Chachamim understood that particular Gemara. Was it halacha? Was it agadah? Is it something that we make Pesach like? Do we not make Pesach like that? And that's why I love the Rif. I always study the Rif. I've always studied the Rif. I love it because the Rif, Rabbi Yitzhak Alfasi, the teacher of Rabbi Yosef ibn Megas. Rabbi Yosef ibn Megas was the teacher of Rabbi Maimon Hadayan. Rabbi Maimon Hadayan was the father of Harambam. So think of it. The teacher of Harambam's father was Rabbi Yitzhak Alfasi, one of the great Chachamim. Such a great Chacham that when the Shulchan Aruch makes Pesach Halacha, he always uses the Rif. He uses the Rif, he uses Harambam, he uses the Rosh. The Rif is one of the pillars, an actual pillar of Halacha. So what the Rif does is he takes from the Gemara those portions that are Halacha. So when you see this in the Rif, this is Halacha, I can quote it. I can say the Gemara says, because the Rif brings it. You understand? That's really important. Let me read to you. You see, I underlined the part. The Amar Rabba. Rabba says the following law. Haracho kodem zemano mutar b'hana'ato afilu le'achar zemano. I just want to add something that I didn't emphasize enough. Let's say a person took a piece of bread before Pesach, burnt it to a crisp. It's black. A dog won't eat it. You all know the law now. The law is, hey, I can keep it. I can possess it. That's on condition that you destroyed the hametz, that you burnt it before Pesach. That's really important. Because when the Isur came, when the time of Pesach came, that was not forbidden anymore because it's not food, it's not edible. Let me take another example. What about if I have bread in my house, chas v'shalom, on Pesach, baminan, b'shogeg, ki lechol ha'am b'shkagay. Obviously I didn't know about it. So I have bread in my house, suddenly I open the closet, cookies. I didn't realize, oh my gosh, we had cookies. How did they miss the cookies? So what do? You say, okay, I take the fire, I'm going to burn the cookies. I burn it to a crisp. No dog would eat it. Question, may I keep those cookies? May I derive benefit from those cookies? Whatever benefit, it doesn't matter. The answer is no. Because when Pesach came, right, we have to get rid of the Hametz the day before Pesach, right? The Oraita Hasov, Hachamim added 2 hours. When Pesach came, that was Hametz. And at that moment in time, it was Asur Behana'ah. Even if I burn it later, it's still Asur Behana'ah. The Isur already descended upon that particular object. Right? So that's the point that the Gemara is making. I know it's a subtle point, and I just wanted to explain that to you so you understand it. So that if somebody, let's say, gives you, give you a theoretical. Let's say you decide to make shampoo in your house. Again, I'm just giving you this as a theoretical. On Pesach, you take chametz. You take the chametz, you make it into something, and then you make shampoo. You can't use that shampoo on Pesach. Because the isur of chametz already descended upon that particular object. It's only if you destroy the chametz before Pesach that you may use the destroyed chametz on Pesach. Okay, I just want to make that. But here's the great part of this thing. Let's see if I can find it. It's really small. I know these letters are small. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on, I'm going to use the actual book. It's hard for me to see it. Give me a moment. Okay. I'm going to see. I'm going to put the cursor here. I'm putting the cursor, there's like a little dot here. Haracho, Chodem Zemano. What we're reading here is Rabbeinu Nisim Cheronde. Listen to what he says. If you burnt it before Pesach, mutar ba'anato. And we said you're allowed to derive benefit from it on Pesach. Perush, and now he explains it. Kehon sheharacho ad she'en hakeli v'chol le'achlo. We're dealing with a situation where, as we said several times already, this is not new to you, that it has to be where the dog would no longer eat it. The ilavachi amrina perek elu obrim hapat she'apesa et pesha v'nifsila milechol le'adam she'reuya le'echol hakelev tzricha bi'ur. Because if it's only not edible by a person, but a dog would eat it, we said you would have to get rid of it. That's in the case of actual hames. Okay, I'm going to take a 5-second pause. You ready now for the punchline? I'm going to read it. Okay, just give me a moment. Here goes. Ude'amrina mutar bahana'ato. When we say that you may derive benefit from this product, theoretically, if somebody was crazy enough to eat this product, this burnt piece of charcoal, it's permissible. Because it's no longer food. Because it's not food, we're not going to say you can eat it, because it's like I'm saying you can eat a piece of wood. I mean, that's not eating, right? So it says you're allowed to derive benefit from it. Stop share. Everybody. What we see from these laws, and let me go back to the original exhibits. I'm going to go back to the original exhibits. For those of you who came late, these exhibits are fun. I enjoy this. I really do. So here's share screen. I'm going to show you Exhibit 1. Exhibit 1, the chief rabbinate of Tel Aviv, giving hechsher on Pesach to a cosmetic company, but only the products here. Not all the cosmetic products. I guess they didn't have a chance to check all the cosmetic products, but these 22 products, sabonim, soap, krem yadayim, hand cream, shampoo, krem guf, and the mesilak, etc., they're telling you all these things are kosher for Pesach. That's great, I think. I personally think that's great. Because now you all know that whole hechsher is completely unnecessary. Because hand cream and shampoo and wax and all these things are not edible. Nobody will eat cosmetic products, okay? And then you remember Exhibit 2. Exhibit 2 was Dr. Fisher medical products. Nobody will eat Dr. Fisher hand cream. It hasn't happened. I remember when I taught this in Israel and people were a little shocked, and I said, really? Here's the standard. Get your dog. Give him the hand cream. If the dog considers that a meal, you put that in the dish, right? You have like the dog dish. If the dog considers that a meal, then we have a question. But that's not really true, because because all these products are actually mixtures that contain hames. So even that is not the correct standard. The correct standard is your child is hungry. Mommy, I want to eat. Okay, leave me alone, I'm busy. I just have to deal with your Zoom the whole day. No, I want to eat now. Okay, here. Take some Dr. Fisher hand cream. If your child is going to eat the Dr. Fisher hand cream, then I guess we have a problem. Then maybe we have a question. Is it edible? Is it not edible? But I know that nobody's child is going to eat Dr. Fisher hand cream. They're not going to eat the Pnina Rosenblum shampoo or the eye makeup or the lac or whatever other product they have. None of it is food. No human being will eat it. And therefore, you all know, the law is mutar bahana'ato. Not only may you possess it on Pesach, because it's not hames, for the same reason, you may derive benefit from it on Pesach. You may use it on Pesach because it's not hames. That's the law. Now the time is 9:16. Well, I'm 1 minute over. I get it. I will now unmute, or give you the opportunity to unmute yourselves. Hold on. And one by one, I will allow participants. Okay. You are all muted. However, I would like to see if anybody has questions. I know that there are going to be questions, and then you can unmute yourself and ask me the question. So let's go. Don't be embarrassed. There's no protocol here. You can all ask your questions.
Hi, it's Doris Cohen.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, okay, first question is, we didn't discuss in this class why chametz is asur at all, but let's say it's just the symbol of chametz. Who said that it's only about the edible symbols of chametz? Meaning, if you're giving us many examples of chametz that is practically used in other ways, so why, if the symbol of chametz is the issue, why is it not also an issue in those other uses?
Right, right. So chametz by definition is what the Torah says chametz is. And what's important is that we not confuse symbolism with halakha. Because you can't put the cart before the horse. I love analyzing symbols in Jewish law. I love analyzing agadot. But it's not the cart that goes before the horse, it's the horse that goes before the cart. So the question or the correct approach that I would suggest to you is as follows. First, understand the halakha. The Torah defines chametz as something edible. By definition, it's food. Non-food is not chametz, because the Torah talks about the prohibition of eating chametz, right? You understand the point? So that's really important. That's really important. Not because sometimes we have theories in our minds, and I know that we like to use those theories to try to guide us in thinking about the halakha, but it should be the other way around. Rather, understand the halakha precisely, and then use that precise. And by the way, and Doris, let me tell you, when you know the halakha precisely, you get pearls of wisdom that you couldn't have thought of before. You'll see. Think of it, and then you'll suddenly understand what's about chametz, why is it food, why is it not non-food, whatever that is. And that's like outside the rubric of this particular class. It's a great question, but it's like that's something I'd like to give a whole class about, not just, this, okay?
I'm with you. I teach halakha also in Barkai.
Beautiful.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I just want to know if someone here in this class, they would say to you, who said chametz only has to be edible, but you're saying that's the nature of what chametz is.
And the answer is,
Examples of chametz being used as non-food items, so I just wanted to
of course,
that out there.
and the answer is who says? The Torah.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that's what we have. We don't have anything else. The ultimate answer to who says is the Torah. And how do we know what the Torah says? Because all of the Rishonim, without exception. Oh, and by the way, you know what's so interesting about this? And it's good that you brought this up, Doris. What's so interesting about this? That if you look at the Haggadah that Amar Rabbi Moshe Iserlis, who is the Ashkenazic posek, he doesn't disagree with a single law we read. In other words, it's not like you say, oh, hold on, I'm Ashkenazi, we have a different... No. Look at the Shulchan Aruch. He doesn't disagree with any of the laws that we just read. He doesn't disagree. And we know, because he's not embarrassed to disagree with the Shulchan Aruch. He says, oh, Ashkenazim have this law, we have this minhag. No. All acknowledged, unanimous. Next question.
That's it for me.
That's it for Doris. Okay. Anybody else? Don't be embarrassed, guys. Let's go.
Rabbi Eli Bro.
Hey, Elliot, what's going on?
What about when it says talks about possession?
Yeah.
It's possession. This is all about possession of Hamed.
Right. So there's two things. The way to look at this, and this is the way the halakha looks at it. First establish, is this hametz? Is this not hametz? If something is no longer edible, it's burnt so that even a dog won't eat it, it's not even considered food. The halakha decided that's not hametz. Well, once you decide it's not hametz, I can possess it, I can own it, I can use it. If I'm crazy enough to eat it, I can even eat it because it's not hametz. That's number one. Then you talk about a mixture. You have a product that's a mixture. Same analysis. Well, okay, this mixture is not edible by a human being. Okay, my crazy dog will eat this mixture. Okay, but he's a dog, he's not a human being. I will not eat the shampoo, even though it smells like pomegranate or whatever they make it smell like. Okay, and at that point we say, okay, this does not have the law of chametz. Well, if it doesn't have the law of chametz, I can possess it, I can eat it, I can use it. So it all starts with the fundamental question, what is considered chametz? By the way, I can give you a class, almost a scientific class, based on a study by Bar Ilan University as to what is chametz and what is not chametz, all based upon the Torah. and scientists did a scientific analysis of the qualities of chametz, and it actually has a very precise scientific definition. Not in this class. Next question. Mikey, you're smiling. What's on your mind?
No, just enjoying it. I guess so. If those that want to maybe, I guess it became a more modern thing recent, where it became maybe mahmir possibly, and I'm gonna go only purchase aluminum foil that has a kashrut on it, etc. Is it not border on? I guess two things. One, lo'eg v'rash, potentially disparaging the prior hachamim that didn't take this upon themselves and didn't think that non-edible food required, to be mahmir upon, and it negatively reflects on them by taking this on. So I'm seeing it as a negative of doing something that wasn't maybe done in the days of prior. Aside from, again, when it comes to bal tashchit, that lending into, I want to be more mahmir, so I'm gonna throw out the ketchup that was opened up, but has no chametz in it.
Right.
And you throw into something, so you're wasting.
Right.
Separate issue too, but similar to this.
Right. So I mean, I think what's important is that, and I don't want to go into why people say you should do this, and why people say you should do that, because I feel that my role, and I feel very blessed to have this role, I love it, is I had the zechut of studying Torah, and I just want to teach people the Torah. We're obligated to follow the Torah. That's our ultimate obligation. And maybe not to overstate the obvious, we have a covenant with the Almighty. We entered into a covenant at Mount Sinai, right? This is my favorite historical place, Mount Sinai. We entered into a covenant with the Almighty to follow His laws. Now, when Hashem gave us laws like chametz, Harambam says that the mitzvot in the Torah, it's like a medicine for the neshama. Our neshamot have certain defects in them, and for those of you who studied C.G. Jung, Jungian psychology, which I love very much, and Robert Johnson and Eric Fromm, and you understand that the neshama, why go to the psychologist? The Gemara says, Barat Yeser Hara. I mean, we have a Yeser Hara. The Bereshit says, Ki Yeser Lev Adam Ra Min Yorav. So we know we have these defects. So Rambam says, the laws that we got in the Torah, and these are the laws that obligate us because of the covenant we entered into in the Har Sinai, these laws are like medicine. Now, can you imagine a guy going to the pharmacy, he's sick, and the doctor says, I need you to take this medicine. You go with the prescription, you look at it, you say, I want to be mahmir. I'm going to forge the doctor's thing, I'm going to add a few extra milligrams, and I'm going to also add some chemicals that are not in the prescription. I'm sorry. That would be very...
Analogy.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy. I love that one.
Thank you. Now, we would say about this person, thank you, Elia, we would say this is Hazid. Right?
Get sick.
Right? It's Hazid. He's going to get sick. Now, Hashem gave us...
They're mentally sick.
Listen, I don't want to say anything bad about anyone, honestly, but what I do want to say is Hashem gave us a beautiful Torah. Torat Adonai Temima Meshivat Nafesh. It means the Torah of Hashem is perfect, and it brings our soul such comfort. So who are we to come and say, I want to be mahmir? Hashem didn't think, I need to help Hashem. I need to help myself more. No, but Hashem created our neshama. He created this perfect. It says temima. What does temima mean? Perfect. Imagine you have a perfect painting. Are you going to draw a mustache on the Mona Lisa? I want to make it better. So that's what these chumrot are. These chumrot are, I want to take the Mona Lisa and I want to put a mustache on the Mona Lisa because it's not perfect enough for me. To me, many of the things I've seen in Israel when I lived there, I haven't been I'm not from America, I don't know what happens in the stores here, so forgive me, I don't know what happens, but I've seen things in Israel that I consider to be the mustache on the Mona Lisa. And when it comes to Pesach, when I saw what they were selling in Pesach and what they were telling me. It happens here also.
It all started here, don't worry.
Okay, it may be the case, So I just want to teach you the laws, really. I just want you to know the laws so that you can make the right choice. When you think about the covenant with Hashem, when you think about the berit, you want to be committed to the berit. And you want to love the Torah. And part of loving the Torah is being satisfied with the Torah. And that's part of loving God. You love God, you love the Torah. It's beautiful. What else do you want? What? What's wrong with it? Nothing. Because it really is beautiful. The Torah that we got from Hashem. You got it? Okay, what other questions? We still have another 4 minutes. So I'm willing to take any question on any subject that you may have.
Rabbi, how you doing? Thank you so much for the class. I've heard recently it's been going around, what are the procedures, if you can go over, in this pandemic, for toiling if our mikvahs are closed, and for burning the chametz if we're not allowed to gather outside and do things like that.
Right. Okay. So first of all, with respect to mikveh, Baruch Hashem, as a scientific matter, the chlorine, it kills the coronavirus, and this is a scientific matter established, Baruch Hashem, by the International Swimming Association. You check it online, you see it. So number one, really important that they put a lot of chlorine in the water. Number two, there should be certain procedures. I know that sometimes there's interactions between the ladies working in the mikvaot and the, those interactions have to be very careful. Number three, meaning no interactions, to the extent that it's, there should be no interactions, okay? Because obviously if somebody's carrying the virus, we don't want to, right? Number three, no more than one person in the mikveh at a time. Number four, proper sanitary procedures. So these are the ways that we can minimize chas v'shalom, the risk of anybody, God forbid, compromising their health. That's so important. Now let me get to the question of biur chametz. Of course, we cannot do biur chametz and endanger ourselves by congregating with other people. So you have a few choices. I think the best choice is mefarer vezore laruach umatil layam. Crumble the chametz, whatever chametz you have, flush it down the drain if you need to. Flush it down the drain, flush it down whatever water sewer system you have. You crumble it, you flush it down, get rid of it. Now this is important. That's for real chametz. You don't have to flush everything down the drain. If you have Mikey brought a bottle of ketchup. You have a bottle of ketchup, and you go to there's some they have some kosher for Pesach list. You go to the kosher for Pesach list. The ketchup is not chametz. Don't use it on Pesach. Put it on the side. Don't throw it away. You don't have to throw it away because it's not chametz. So when I say crumble it, I mean crumble actual chametz. That's what you crumble. That's what you have to get rid of. Stuff that is not actual chametz does not have to be gone. It's not a mixture of chametz also you have to get rid of course. Actual chametz, a mixture of chametz, of course. We're not, by the way, we're not mekilim, we're not machmilim. We follow the halakha. I just want you to know, it's not a theory. It's a commitment. I'm interested in what the law is. I want to know what the halakha is. I want to know what Hashem wants from us. I want to know what the covenant that I entered into with Har Sinai with Hashem, what that requires of me. That's what I do. So ta'arovet chametz, mixture of chametz, of course you get rid of. Actual chametz you get rid of. Other things, put away in the closet, close it, lock it, and throw away the cake if you have to.
If you don't have any chametz, you don't have any chametz, right?
If you don't have any chametz,
Find chametz, do you?
right, you don't have to find chametz, but you do have to do bedikat chametz in places that you brought chametz into. So if you ate chametz in your house, you do bedikat chametz. If you didn't find anything, no problem. You did the bedikat.
Rabbi,
Yes, sir.
but put it away. Like for example, if you put away, like I said, an open bottle of something. But again, if it has no chametz in it, and it is a list that somebody did the chesed, God bless Rabbi Bani and their team of checking that out, that it doesn't have chametz in Heinz ketchup,
Yes.
and it was open, and I'm using it, and it squeezes the bottle out. There's no way of the chametz going in. So
Right.
then, no issue. There's no need to put it away in theory and spend $10 on the kosher Peso brand, but it's okay to use that one as well.
So, I'll tell you, let's distinguish between halakha and minhag. What you just described is the halakha. I know that the minhag, growing up in my house, we would perhaps use that ketchup, meaning we would buy the ketchup that's on the list because it's kasher for Pesach. I'm interested in what's kasher and what's not kasher. But if we opened it before Pesach, we close it, we don't use it on Pesach, we take a new one for Pesach. That's the minhag. I'm just explaining to you what I did in my house growing up. I think it's a lovely minhag. And I feel that it has some resonance to it that's a favorable resonance. Okay?
One more question.
Yes, please.
Hi, sorry, it's Doris again.
Please.
How do you determine when chametz becomes a ta'arovet? Like how much stuff has to be mixed into it for it to become a ta'arovet?
Right. So ta'arovet chametz by definition is 1/6 or less is the ta'arovet chametz. So let's say you have a shampoo that your dog would eat, and half, I'm just throwing it at theoreticals, just so you know how to think about this, even though there's, in the actual world, it's not like that. Let's say you have shampoo that your dog would eat, and it ends up that it's, what do you call it, that it's more than 1/2 chametz, more than 1/6 chametz, it has doughy paste in it. Okay, and your dog would eat it. Okay, get rid of that. Ta'arofet is 1/6 or less than 1/6. That's the percentage. That's what's considered a ta'arofet. Okay, and the difference is,
Let's say a dog would eat Play-Doh.
yeah, right. But that's not a ta'arofet chametz, because what is in the Play-Doh? What is the ingredient in Play-Doh that's chametz? I would submit to you that is not something that has that has more than 1/6 chametz. But let's look at the ingredients. Tell me what it is.
Flour and other stuff. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay, look it up. Whatever it is, it is. Now you know the law. Now you know the law. If it's a ta'arofet chametz, you may possess it so long as a person can't eat it. Remember, for the ta'arofet, we look at the person. I think I just misspoke. By the way, I want to erase what I just said for about 2 minutes. I think I just misspoke. If it's a ta'arofet, right? We look at whether a person would consume that. So if a person won't consume the Play-Doh, right, you can keep it, right? On the other hand, if it's
If
the
it's actual chametz,
Ah.
then the dog, right? I understand.
Then you look
So
at the
it's
dog.
Water, salt, and flour.
I'm sorry.
Play-Doh is made of water, salt, and flour.
Okay, so I would submit to you that that's a ta'arofet chametz, but more importantly, nifseda. One of the things that we studied about was nifseda surat hametz, where before Pesach the hametz no longer exists in its regular physical state.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. Again, it's an interesting question because the Gemara deals with a similar thing. They say, for example, they used to have like a paste that they would use like as a glue, and the Gemara says you can keep that paste, you can keep it because nifseda surat hametz. So it was like they used to use dough to make glue, and they would use it to glue papers together. The Gemara says you can keep it. So I would submit to you that the Play-Doh is like that dough. It's actually even less than that dough because the dough actually was dough, but nifseda surat hametz. It was no longer had the physical qualities of hametz because they turned it into glue and now it's used for paper. So Play-Doh is like that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and by the way, and Harambam and Shulchan Aruch bring that Gemara halakha lema'aseh. It's actually brought in the Shulchan Aruch. That's important. Yes.
Rabbi, I have one question.
Play-Doh, even like a child might eat it though, that's okay? I mean, not that they should, but a child might eat it, it's non-toxic.
Yes.
Even though it's not food, you have to worry about that.
Right, yeah, I think that if your child eats Play-Doh once, that might be the last time he decides to eat it. That's just a sense I got. Elliot had a question. There was an Elliot there, was that Elliot Levy?
Elliot Levy.
Yes.
Is it enough to just walk a couple blocks to like a public garbage can and toss all your hummus there?
Listen, I mean, you know, I like, I'm a traditionalist, I'm very conservative, as you probably know. I like following the minhag of bi'ur hames or mefarer vezoreh laruach or matil layam. I don't like putting it, you know, if you have no choice, you know, you don't have the ability, you know, whatever, then go to a public place and dispose of it there, but you should destroy the hames beforehand. I want to follow the law that the Chachamim gave us, destroy the hames that you have before Pesach. If you have no choice and you don't have the ability to destroy it, then dispose of it in a public garbage pail. That is also, but it has to be public. It can't be your own garbage pail.
Right. Thanks.
Okay. Everybody, as you know, Sunday, 5 p.m., I have a class. That class will not be a class on halakha. That will be a class about thinking. It'll be beautiful ideas for Pesach that you can actually use for Leil HaSeder. That's why I'm giving that class. So 5 p.m., the same Zoom channel. Sunday at 5 p.m., Shi'ur. 5:30, we're going to have Mincha together. So tfadalu, you're all welcome to join us for that class. It was a pleasure teaching all of you. Tomorrow night is going to be a Gemara class, so it's a and you're all welcome, of course, to join the Gemara class. Belina, that it's going to be at 8:30. Anybody wants to study Gemara in the old ways of Harambam and Chachmei Lusena, you're welcome, of course. That was not publicized, but you may publicize it and you may join us for that as well. Belina.
Thank you.
All the best. All the best to everybody. A pleasure.
Thank you. Take care.